This is part 2 to the plat making guide. If you haven't watched the first video, I highly recommend going and watching that. But this is for the defense guide. It will show builds for Wisp, Sight, Nidus, Jade, and Vauban, which they all come together to make pretty quick defense missions. Pretty much 2.5 minutes to 2 minutes per relic open. So first up, I'll show the builds. First we have Vauban with 5 Tower Red Shards. And we use the Arc Gun from Nocco. The build doesn't matter for the Arc Gun, and the Arcane Stone all matter as well. But for the build, we use Bright Bonnet from Nocco, which gives energy regen and more strength. We use enemy radars, so the sights can see them more. And we use Bellicose, because more strength from the Wisp motes. And we also use efficiency for more duration. With the pads, if you stack 4 pads down, you get multiplicative damage buff, stacking up to a lot of damage. Now for the Wisp build, we use Roar for damage buffing. We also have Piercing Roar. This is just a quality of life. You can have it for another strength mod or duration mod. But we also use Power Drift because 3 people will be running it, so more for more strength. And we use Viger and Arca and Bellicose for more strength. We also use 5 strength shards for Wisp to get more out of the Roar and the motes. And for the primary, we use the Aventus Prime, which if you throw it down, it gives fire rate, which is really good. And yet again, the build does not matter. You can run it with 0 mods and 0 arcanes, like I do here. So for the Jade build, we also use 5 Tower Strength Shards. But with Jade, we're going to be using 2 different builds. One with Warcry to give more armor, and you'll see why in a second. And we use Viger and Bellicose to get more strength. And we also use Deathbringer and Power of 7. So for the second build, we run Eclipse. And we run the augment called Total Eclipse to give the buff to our teammates. And it's the same build. So for the Nidus build, we run 5 strength Tower Shards. I don't have all the shards on at me at the moment, so I can't do the build. Plus, I don't run the client site. So for the build, we also use Bright Bonnet for the pre-buff section, and we also run Viger and Bellicose as the arcanes. We also run Nocco's Arc Gun to give the more strength and energy regen to the Bright Bonnets. So the skill tree for Sight, we run Yunari for Stone Skin, which gives 200 armor at base. And you can also run the Hammer, and one of the abilities gives more armor as well, which I don't have because I can't be bothered to go get it, since I'm not farming it. And I also don't run Sight. So for the Sight build, we run 2 Parkour Velocity and 3 Casting Shards. I have these shards because I use the Sight for solo. But for the build, we run 2 enemy radar mods so we can see enemies further. We also run either Nourish or Shock Trooper, depending on which one it is. And Lightning Dash, if that's Grace, can be switched out for anything you want. So for Arcane Battery, we gain more energy off armor, that's why Warcry is needed. And we also use Arcane Sculptor for more energy efficiency. This is the build I use for solo. It's just more strength, more duration, and with Shock Trooper. And the same arcanes. So for the Sobek build, this is the solo one. We run Deadhead for more damage. And we run just Electricity. We also run the normal Sobek, That's the wrong ribbon. But we also run the normal Sobek for the more fire rate and multi-shot from the ribbon. We will also run this build for the arbitration defense or the setup. And we use primary overcharge because we get up to 350% multi-shot from the armor. And we also have the same ribbon, and this build has no damage mods. It's just fire rate, multi-shot, and the only damage mod is the minus accuracy. So this will be a little bit of a rundown on how to pre-buff. So first, I'll go through them all individually. So for Jade first, we use Warcry first. And pretty much what you want to do is you wait for your Nidus to place Bright button down, you dash, use an ability, and put your power 7 up. The Wisp will then put the motes down, and then once the Nidus links to you, we can use our Warcry, and then switch to Deathbringer. Then at this moment, after Deathbringer is used, we wait, the Nidus will leave and rejoin back on site. And then once the site rejoins, you can, once they're in here, you can leave and you can go back to your Orbiter and put on the Eclipse build. And then once you load in, you do the same thing, you dash for the more strength, you use an ability to more strength out of the Arcane, you use your power 7, and then you use your Eclipse. And then after that you leave and rejoin back on Vauban. For the Nidus build, we run the Arc Gun, and once we load into the mission, you would want to place your Bright Bonnet down, and then shoot it once with the Arc Gun. Then you can do your Sling Strength and proc your Arcane Vigor by using a Tenno ability. Then you would link to your Wisp. Once the Wisp does her health motes and haste motes, you can dash again, use an ability for Vigor, and then link to the Jade. And after the Jade does all of her buffs, you can leave and rejoin back on site. And for the Wisp setup, it's the same thing. You join with on the Raw ability. You wait for your Nidus to place down the Bright Bonnet, you do your dash, you place the health mote down. Then he will link to you once, because your Bellicose will be maxed. And then you place health mote again to get more health, up to 11,000. And then you do your haste mote. Then after that, you pretty much wait until everyone does all their setups and for the mission to start. So with Vauban, you play Vauban as a support. Like once you join back as Vauban, pretty much all you need to really do is place 2 Bright Bonnets down in range of your team and shoot them once every time that you deploy the ability, which will give the double effect. Then you can place your pads like this, so your DPS can run over them and get multiplicative damage. As you can see up here, it's 168%, and you get more movement speed and weapon damage. So this is what it looks like in mission. This is an arbitration for interception. So pretty much the Nidus put the bright button down, then I put my health mote down. And once he links to me, I can do all my setups, place health mote down again, and then I put the haste mote down. Then after that, he links to the Jade, and then the Jade does her setup. And we always do Deathbringer first. Then the Nidus leaves, drones back on site. Then here, once the site comes back, the Jade will leave and go to the Eclipse build. But for this run, the Jade went back to Vauban straight away because we didn't need power 7 because it would have lagged our game too much. So this is how you play a Wisp in defenses and arbitrations. Pretty much you just throw your Fentis, then you raw, and then the pads are stacked from your Vauban, but it's your DPS intake. So this is me playing Vauban in arbitration. Pretty much this is what the gameplay looks like. You place your Bright Bonnets down, you throw your pads, you shoot the Bright Bonnet, and then you just collect stuff. You collect Vitus Essence, you can collect Reactant. Both these setups work for arbitration and Fissure defenses, which Fissure defenses are good, and because you get prime parts. But these builds work in both pretty much. So once you have the build for the RB, you can also have the build for the Fisher defenses. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are the 2 ways I make all my plat. I make around 3,000 plat a day pretty much by selling prime sets. If you want to come watch this live, I stream every single day, and my Twitch is in the description of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed.